We are watching a serious showdown unfold in Chicago. One that's not just about riots or protests, but one about authority, accountability, and who's going to stand up for law and order when the current leaders aren't doing so. I want to walk you through how we got here, what's at stake, and why President Donald Trump's threats and actions now are making sense. And frankly, why the current city leaderships deserve the pressure. Over the past few weeks, tensions have been rising in Chicago, mostly around federal immigration enforcement, ICE facilities, ICE operations, and protest. The Trump administration launched Operation Midway Blitz, and what that is a crackdown on undocumented immigrants to the U.S. But the difference is they specifically have alleged criminal backgrounds. In response, there have been countless protests happening at the ICE facilities, and at some of these protests, they have turned violent against federal agents, as far as fighting, tear gas, and rubber bullets being shot at people. It's gotten so bad that a recent incident happened with Border Patrol agents where they say that they were rammed with a vehicle and thus had to use self-defense. And because of that, a woman was shot, a U.S. citizen. And this is when President Trump immediately responded by authorizing 300 National Guard troops in Chicago. And he sent them there with the main goal of protecting federal officers and federal assets. So now, let's talk about Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson. He has been a very vocal critic of President Trump's current decisions. He has pushed back aggressively, saying that President Trump deploying the Guard without coordination or local consent is reckless and militarized intrusion, and likely will just inflame all of the tension instead of calming it down. Mayor Johnson even went as far to issue a bill forbidding Chicago city departments, including the police, from coordinating with federal raids or operations that infringe on constitutional rights. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has also refused to cooperate with President Trump. He doesn't agree with Trump's demand to call up the state's National Guard, calling the ultimatum outrageous and un-American. Chicago's leadership has failed. When local officials refuse to act, the federal government has to fill the void. Yes, you risk friction and political backlash, but you can't let lawlessness go unchecked, especially when federal property is what's being assaulted. I understand why President Trump is pressing and forcing local leadership to make a choice. It's either protect your people or let the government protect them. In the coming days, we will see a lot of legal fights, court injunctions, constitutional arguments, and much more. Johnson and Pritzker will sue. City councils will protest. But at the end of the day, power answers to stability. And if Chicago needs a jolt, let it be a reminder that authority doesn't just vanish just because a city is electing leaders who refuse to act right. Now, let's take a look at this clip of Mayor Johnson addressing President Trump on MSNBC.
Or anyone from the Trump administration reached out to you directly, personally, asking you, or at least telling you that they're coming to town and wanting to meet with you and discuss any of this with you?
Well, first of all, she has no idea what she's talking about. The Trump administration, they are completely delusional right now. And what they are promulgating in this particular moment are not just unconstitutional measures, but they're dangerous and reckless, and it's antithetical to who we are as a nation. You know, what I've done in the city of Chicago, I've signed 2 sweeping executive orders, one to make sure that the residents of this city know their rights and that there's real clear engagement with our law enforcement, not wearing any masks, being identifiable, and being also very clear about protecting the rights of all of our residents. The second thing is we made sure that we're protecting the right to protest. This is something that's fundamental to our democracy, the peacefully assembling of individuals to petition their government to do right by the people of this nation is something that is fundamental, and it's part of the bedrock of our nation. When it comes to black, brown, white, Asian, working class people, this president has not only been a disappointment, but again, he has worked hard to relitigate the Civil War.
Next, I want to look at this disturbing clip of the riots that are happening in Chicago, just so you guys can understand a little bit better and see how bad it really got.
Angie's out of there. Are you okay? Did that hit you in the head?
Yeah, I did, but
Oh, okay. You all right?
thank you.
Okay. It's scuffed, but not cracked. You're okay. It hit you right in the jaw, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're all right.
Thank you.
You got some water.
In that video, you can see with your own eyes, it is bad. The citizens and protesters are throwing glass bottles at the vehicle and at the cars of the federal agents. That can become super dangerous. But on the other side, you can also see the federal agents reacting by throwing out tear gas. They even threw one so far and hard that it hit someone in the head, but thankfully he was wearing a helmet. So all in all, you can see that it's just violence against violence, and that's not going to equal peace. It's going to just equal a bigger mess of violence, and we don't need that. Lastly, I want to read this tweet. Federal officers are under attack in Chicago. Governor Pritzker and the Chicago PD are absolutely useless in even enabling these domestic terrorists. President Trump must send in the National Guard immediately. From that tweet and video, it should just make you sad. It is so heartbreaking that our world and country is coming to this. A truck literally ran through federal agents' truck to bum rush them. They hit the car and kept driving until other agents had to interfere and the car crashed as well. That is just more and more violence happening, and we don't need to see an increase of it. And my fear is that we will. Something needs to happen to get all of these matters to calm down. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on KW Lawholic.